Well, the take admin is out. Was it a remake? I don't know.
I'm not sure. I guess we'll just wait and see what happens.
Well, because there's also the Take TV account, so I assume that's when they're casting from. So let's hope to rock and roll with that, guys. Just sticking with this spotty here in the lower left corner of the map, playing for Millenium. It is the Blue Terran, who should not be stopped today. ForGG.
And his opponent going to be trying to do what his teammate could not in this matchup. Coming out for complexity, we're going to be having the Korean specialist, the STC.
Now, before we jump into too much, Penguin's got some nerd baller things to go over in a second. In the top right, you can see the score displayed at all times, guys, as it's a best of 9 between the two teams, not necessarily the players at hand. So, to keep track, if you just tuned in, don't freak out. This is where you can see the score. That's what this means. Secondly, this is being played on the North American server for what it's worth.
Yes, it is. Well, just to go over the stats, I mentioned earlier that ForGG is very, very good at TBT. His TBT win rate in the Acer Team Story Cups actually 66%.
Not too shabby.
It's pretty good. STC, though, also sitting at a comfortable 60. So, you know, both of these guys are very, very strong TBT. They've shown it in this team league, and it looks like STC is actually going to be looking to go for the same opening as his teammate did, going to be going CC first on the low ground, whereas ForGG once again going to be going Rax. He's playing safer. And you know why he's playing safer, Rifkin? Because he cannot lose a game.
Yeah, and let's not forget, too, that's 66%. That sounds impressive at first. Then you remember that he needs a 100% win rate today.
Yeah. The highest, actually, interestingly enough, not too surprisingly, the highest win rate overall is actually Innovation with 77%.
Well, one of the big things, too, we kind of touched on this a little bit before the game started, about talking about sending out the best players, trying to burn all the good people first for complexity to try and, again, they're trying to stay in the league for next season, guys. That's their goal with today. They need to make sure they don't become the bottom of the pool. But, you know, if you burn QXC and the SCC early, those are probably two very analytical players who are going to sit there and figure out, like, oh, hey, maybe I'll go watch the replay. Maybe I'll watch the cast. I'll study up on ForGG and maybe knock him out in game number 5 if I get resurrected type thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, this game is very, very important for Complexity because they are fighting for survival, but it's not as important for them as it is for Millenium, because even if Complexity loses this, they still have another match themselves as well. Both of these teams still have to play Invictus Gaming, and if Complexity can take out a win against Invictus Gaming, that will also secure them a top 8 finish.
The SCV from the STC going to be driven off here. This is going to be another one of those games where we're just not going to get the names right. You got STC, QXC versus ForGG.
ForGG with their SCVs.
Hee hee hee. Alright, well, anyways, the bases are up a little bit earlier for the SCC, of course. It's going to give them a little bit of a nice economy, but I think the big question is, will it be mech or will it be bio? And going off the fact that it's the SCC, I gotta say, man, it's gotta be bio.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not a fan of mech compared to people like STC. ForGG wouldn't surprise me too much to see him go mech again, but it also wouldn't be too outside the realm of possibility to see him going for bio. And, well, we're not going to know quite yet what he's going to be doing. His first factory is still completing, but he is adding on a relatively early second gas. That's not so early, actually. We're already 5 minutes in. Starport coming straight on down again.
Looks like it will be a Banshee opener from ForGG once again, so gonna try and cause some harassment to the SCC, but the one thing that's not going to work out so well for him is, well, he might have a starport coming up pretty quick, and he'll probably also have his fair amount of defense out. He's not going to have a ton of Hellions, so he's not going to have a lot of Marines. His aggression is going to be somewhat limited here, so it has to deal with the oncoming Banshee from ForGG before he thinks about moving out. Because if he builds a couple units and moves out right away, actually, I really like these Woodmines. This is kind of an interesting choice. You can put these in the mineralized cores because that's where you know the SCVs are going to come down. And a money scan, of course, from the SCC sees exactly that it will be Banshees. And, yeah, going to be mech once again. Goodbye, Barracks. So long.
STC already adding on double Widow Mines, which is kind of interesting. We don't usually see this out of somebody in TBT. Going to be queuing up Hellions behind this, though, so not too out of the ordinary.
I thought these Widow Mines were going to be purely defensive. I think he's just going to drop these at one of, like, old school Terran tactics. Drop one at each of the bases.
Definitely, that could... Imagine 2 Hellions and 2 Widow Mines. Actually, that would probably not be a very good...
No, that wouldn't, but, you know...
that would probably not be that
Drop
great.
one at the natural, drop one at the main. You just try and force scans with this, the idea, of course, but I'm not sure if that would be as good of an idea, because nowadays Ravens are actually incorporated into the meta, but okay, 2 Hellions, 2 Widow Mines it will be. And of course...
Did you hear that?
Yeah, a little bit. It's not a big deal. It's not really coming up in the background. But anyways, no. Look at the fences right now for the FCC. He's got a bunker with 2 Marines in it, and that's it right now. Raven is on the way. There's actually not a lot to stop this 6 Hellion poke coming from ForGG. You just run right past and kill the mineral lines.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 2 of his own Hellions out now, but if he really wanted, he could sack these and get some good SCV kills. The question is if he wants to do that, and well, it is going to be 2 Hellions and 2 Widow Mines coming in for STC.
Yeah, and ForGG just moved out of position. He was in position to intercept this already. Now vacuuming the mineral lines in full, burrowing his own Widow Mines. And SCV here too goes down, but oh, nice Widow Mine connections from ForGG. Cleans up those Hellions like it's nothing. Of course, with the Raven, doesn't even need to burn a scan. So a great opening here, but the FCC did burrow a second Widow Mine here, expecting him to burn scans, but as we know, the Raven's out, so not an issue. Not a whole lot lost here, a little bit. 3 workers, in the end, not a big deal.
Not at all. The medevac did get out as well, so the STC does survive with that at least, but ForGG is definitely in a bit of a happy spot now. He's getting to his happy place slowly but surely. He's got an armory finishing up now. Wouldn't be too surprised to see a couple of Hellbats come on out as well as a medevac. Blue Flame is already well underway.
Well, that's what I was going to say, but it's for the STC. He's not going to play POW. He is, in fact, going to go with mech.
Whoa! Whoa!
Well, here's the thing, though. It surprises us. It may also surprise ForGG. I mean, that initial drop wasn't a dedication, and of course, ForGG is not scanned or pushed up into the base. He might not actually be aware there's a ton of Hellions waiting for him when he's expecting Marines.
Yeah, I mean, what has ForGG actually seen? Not very much. He just hasn't scouted much of anything at all.
No.
He could be caught very off guard. His own factories are later once again, going for the earlier third instead. And does he see that floating racks? No, he does not, Rifkin.
No, so I also don't think ForGG is going to push up here blindly, right? Like, he'll probably scan or get some sort of high ground vision first. But again, this is a composition that will catch him off guard. And Hellions are great. Blue Flame Hellions are better. And unfortunately, ForGG is not going to have the Blue Flame in this upcoming engagement. FCC is actually going to just rush out of his base. He might lose 1 to this Widow Mine, but he should be able to run over the rest.
Yeah, I mean, we do have these couple of SCVs just sort of sacrificing themselves for I don't know what good. No, I would usually say the greater good, but it didn't really do very much. All right, here comes the
Oh, it could have been bad if. But let's not.
Okay. ForGG knows it's Blue Flame, and he runs home immediately, tail between his legs. His own Blue Flame is only just now starting, so Hellbat's on the way out. They'll try to help him hold. His additional 4th and 5th factories are going to be finishing up a bit earlier, but it's not going to be enough to make too much of a difference. 1 engineering bay on the way as well, just to be able to get a bit of a turret ring going. +1 is starting first for... No, it's actually far ahead for STC. So ForGG is actually getting very far behind here.
Well, he is going to make up for that with these Hellbat drops. So look at the main base of the STC. No Widow Mines, no missile turrets, no defense against these medevacs. So if he can get in there with double drops, that will do some very sick damage, Penguin.
It would indeed. Does he have any of those things going right now? No, he doesn't actually have many medevacs. He's got 1 medevac just chilling at the natural with nothing in it. But we do see him getting a bit active with a few Marines actually thrown into the Hellbats as well. I don't know if I like this, to be honest. The composition of the STC is very good to deal with this. And will ForGG decide to try to push into the tanks here? That would be a very strange decision, in my opinion. 4 Hellion drop at the 3rd will kill off a couple of workers.
As well as some auto turret harass going here at the 3rd of the STC. Actually, this is going to kill a lot more workers than it should have. Up to 8 kills so far. This Raven being a beast. But some Blue Flame Hellions right into the natural. And there's actually nothing here to stop them. SCVs will go down. ForGG is forced to bring everything back home. Tanks now coming down the ramp, but man, these Hellions have already gotten their kills. SCVs are just lining up, trying to retreat, but alright, cleans them up without too much.
12 to 16 worker kills. STC in the lead in that respect. These auto turrets are really packing a punch. They're even killing off some of the Hellions.
But this is kind of what I wanted to talk about last game too. We saw how good Hellions are versus Hellbats. I mean, even if you're not microing, they're just in the initial engagement as they try and flood in. you'll volley that down with the tanks, you'll splash down the Hellbats. They won't get to soak and tank the damage like they want to. So having so many in the composition this early, a little bit odd to me, but gonna invest in it still nonetheless. One medevac loaded up with two, heading towards the main. There's actually nothing here. Oh, he didn't even see this coming.
Wow.
There's one tank now popping out, but that's production. That's not because it was rallied.
Uh-oh. Oh no, that's bad. Alright, so ForGG gonna try to do a bit more damage here.
Oh, he's bringing back the SCV's way too early. He's gonna lose the tank too.
Oh, he is. The Hellbat's actually successfully getting on top of the tank. This is now a very good trade.
And he gets one out alive.
He escapes with the medevac. It'll be amazing for him, and he does.
5 Hellions
Meanwhile,
though.
Hellions into the third.
Yeah, ForGG gonna take some damage here. Not for naught though. 25 to 28 workers killed so far. That's rising. 31-32. Hellbat's coming, but they're not in range. They're not in position. It looks like he's just going to push across the map instead. He's got all of his army positioned. He's got it selected. The air battle will go in the favor of the STC 100%. But look at these tanks so well positioned here. He's going to actually knock down this orbital. Finally lifts it up. Perhaps a little too late. It's burning, but all right.
And well, we do actually have a skirmish going off. He'll pick off that one tank. A nice little pick off for essentially free. But here comes the flank. Could it try to move in? Does ForGG have enough to break this is the question. STC moving forward. Going to try to break this high ground contain. We'll lose a few Hellions in the process, but these tanks will go down.
That gives up positioning. And right now, ForGG was trying to push into that siege line, get around it, go into it something. But without his own tanks, this is so difficult. Penguin, this is not like a good Hellbat dropped on top of the tanks. Here come the Hellion lines. There's some auto turrets go down in this as well, but the tanks are still standing, and the STC will hold.
He will indeed, and that puts ForGG at a massive deficit. Supply-wise, he's down by 40 now. He's up by 2 workers, but his army is 6 Hellbats and 2 tanks. He's got 1 Viking to try to vie for air superiority.
Well, no,
that's going to do nothing against 6 Vikings.
It's actually landed and running for its life right now in the middle of the map.
Oh, wow. Well,
that may have just cost ForGG the game. Typically, you'd say like Terran players could reel back off this into a defensive stance, but ForGG does not have that defensive stance. Tanks are not sieged. He's continuing to push forward with the unsieged tanks against a siege line that is superior to his. 2 level upgrades on each, but it's wow, GG. But let's not forget,
that's a hard loss.
It really is. But that doesn't mean it's necessarily over for Complexity, guys, or for Millenium. Remember, it was a 5-1 or 5-0 map score they needed today, so still in this for now. Don't count them out. But of course, above all else, they want to make sure that they stay in the league. So it's not like they'll throw the rest of the matches, flip the tables, and quit. But that's not a good start. That's not a good way to start this in game number 2.